You don't notice the moment it starts. You just wake up, open a screen, and feel the day begin without you. A headline tells you what to fear. A feed tells you what to want. A notification tells you you're late. And somewhere inside that noise, there's a quiet question you keep skipping. If machines are learning every day, are you still growing, or are you just reacting? Machines don't get tired the way you do. They don't carry shame. They don't get distracted by comparison. They learn because they're designed to learn. You, on the other hand, live inside a life that is designed to pull you away from yourself. And that's why this question matters. Not as a motivational slogan, but as a mirror. Because growth is not a vibe. It's not a quote. It's not a goal you write down and forget. Growth is a pattern you build when no one is clapping. The first thing machines learn is simple. Patterns. They take millions of examples, they notice what repeats, and they get better at predicting what comes next. That's all learning is at its core. Spot the pattern, reduce the error, improve the next move. Now look at your day. What patterns are you feeding your mind? What do you repeat without choosing it? Scroll, compare, consume, delay, repeat. If you repeat the same inputs, you shouldn't be surprised when you repeat the same outputs. A machine learns from data. Humans learn from attention. What you pay attention to becomes your training set. If your attention is scattered, your growth becomes shallow. If your attention is owned by noise, your identity becomes borrowed. And this is where it gets uncomfortable. Most people want to grow, but they keep training for distraction. They say they want clarity, but they keep feeding confusion. They say they want freedom, but they keep practicing impulse. No one forces this. That's the problem. It's gentle. It feels normal. It feels like just checking something. And because it feels small, it slips under your radar. The digital world is built to teach you one lesson. Speed equals survival. Faster replies, faster results, faster entertainment, faster money, faster everything. When you live in that rhythm long enough, slowness starts to feel dangerous. You begin to treat patience like weakness. But the things that grow you are slow. Skill is slow, strength is slow, trust is slow, a calm mind is slow, a real life is slow, not boring, not lazy, slow like a deep breath, slow like a tree. Machines can improve without meaning. They can optimize without purpose. Humans can't. If you optimize your life only for speed, you may get efficient, but you will feel empty. That emptiness will make you reach for more stimulation, and stimulation will make you even less able to sit with silence. The loop tightens without ever looking like a trap. You know it when you try to focus. You open a document and your mind jumps. You sit to think and your hand reaches for your phone. Not because you're weak, but because you've trained yourself to escape the moment a thought gets heavy. Growing is not just adding knowledge, it's building the ability to stay. There's a strange lie in modern life. If you have access to information, you must be learning. But information is not learning, it's potential learning. Learning happens when you wrestle with something long enough for it to change you. You can watch 10 hours of content about discipline and never become disciplined. You can read endless threads about money and never build wealth. You can listen to podcasts about confidence and still avoid the hard conversation. Because consumption can feel like progress while leaving you unchanged. Machines don't confuse input with transformation. You do. Because your brain loves the feeling of movement even when you're standing still. A new video, a new tip, a new insight gives you a small hit of relief. Relief feels like growth, but relief is often just escape wearing a clean outfit. Ask yourself this: when was the last time something you learned made you act differently the same day? Not next week, not eventually, the same day. If learning doesn't touch your behavior, it's entertainment. The sharpest difference between you and a machine is not intelligence, it's direction. A machine can be powerful and still be meaningless. A human can be limited and still be wise. Wisdom is when you know what matters and you protect it. But protecting what matters requires boundaries. And boundaries are hard in a world that profits from your openness. The system doesn't need to hate you to use you, it just needs you to stay available. Availability feels like virtue. You answer fast, you stay informed, you keep up. But constant availability is a quiet surrender. It makes your mind a public space. Anyone can walk in, anything can interrupt. And when your mind is a public space, your growth becomes a rumor instead of a reality. Machines have firewalls, do you? Most people don't lose their future in one big mistake. They lose it in 1,000 tiny leaks, the minute here, the hour there, the "I'll start tomorrow" that repeats for years. Growth requires you to close some doors so one door can finally open. Here's another truth people avoid. Machines learn because they're allowed to fail. They can test, adjust, and try again with no ego. Humans often stop learning because failure hurts their identity. You don't fear learning. You fear looking stupid. You fear being behind. You fear starting something and not being good. So you delay. You plan, you research, you prepare, and preparation becomes your hiding place. The world tells you to be confident, but confidence is not a starting point. It's a result. It grows when you survive your own discomfort. If you want to grow faster, you need a healthier relationship with embarrassment. You need to become someone who can be seen as a beginner without collapsing inside. That's why the machine is learning and you feel stuck. Not because it's smarter, because it doesn't care about the story you tell yourself. The story is heavy, the work is simple. Now bring money into it, because money changes what you choose to learn. In a digital economy, skills become currencies, attention becomes income, trends become careers. And suddenly, learning isn't just personal, it becomes survival. That pressure can make you sharp, but it can also make you fake. You start learning what gets rewarded, not what makes you real. You chase the skill that pays instead of the skill that builds your foundation. You become efficient, but fragile. And fragility feels like anxiety. Anxiety makes you crave certainty. Certainty makes you cling to safe paths. Safe paths feel like being responsible. But sometimes safe paths are just slow ways to disappear. Your growth becomes a performance. You learn to look like you're improving. You post, you share, you brand yourself, and the quieter work, the work that actually changes you, gets neglected because it doesn't get applause. Machines don't need validation. Humans crave it. If you don't manage that craving, the algorithm will. Ask yourself, are you building skills or building a mask? So what does growing look like in a world where machines are always improving? It looks less dramatic than you think. It looks like reclaiming your training. Start with attention, because attention is where learning begins. Pick 1 hour a day where you remove the feed. No scrolling, no clips, no headlines. 1 hour of clean input. You don't do this to punish yourself. You do it to give your mind a chance to go deep. Then pick one thing to learn that has a clear output. Not learn about investing. Learn to build a budget you can follow, not learn about fitness. Learn to do a simple program for 4 weeks, not learn about business. Learn to sell one thing to one person, simple, concrete, measurable. Your mind needs evidence. Evidence is what creates belief, and belief is what fuels growth. Also, shrink the number of promises you make to yourself. Most people fail because they try to change everything at once. They treat their life like a project, not a person. But growth is built by consistency, not intensity. One small action repeated beats 100 big plans. And don't ignore your body. A mind that never rests can't absorb anything. Sleep is learning. Movement is learning. Even boredom is learning, because boredom is where your brain stops begging for the next hit and starts making sense of your life. Give yourself small zones with no audience, a walk with no headphones, a page of notes you'll never post, a conversation where you don't try to sound smart. When you remove performance, you create space for real growth. You stop collecting ideas and start becoming the person who can use them. You learn to stay with discomfort, to finish what you start, and to trust slow progress again. There's a final shift that matters most, from reacting to choosing. Machines react to signals. Humans can choose values, that's your edge. That's your freedom. If you want to feel less behind, stop trying to keep up with everything. Choose one direction and commit to it. The feeling of falling behind often comes from having too many directions at once. You are not behind. You are split. So split less. Decide what you are becoming. Decide what you will protect. Decide what you will ignore. And then live like your decisions are real. Because machines are learning, yes, they are getting faster, cheaper, stronger. That will continue. But you are not here to compete on speed. You are here to build a life that has a center. Tonight, don't ask yourself how much you consumed. Ask yourself what you practiced. Because what you practice is what you become. And if you practice distraction, you become scattered. If you practice focus, you become dangerous in the best way. The question is still waiting. The machines are learning. Are you still growing?